Y'all, y'all, y'all. Today's been an interesting day. So what we're going to do now is look at a new filing in the Tati Westbrook without a crystal ball case filed by the defense, KJ, relating to fuckery that went down on Twitter today. I will talk about that a little bit too. This is a first look. It literally dropped as I was live over on the Instagrams at the Emily D. Baker, if you don't follow me there. And so we are going to do a live reacts first look and a little bit of a breakdown of what happened today and why that kind of nonsense on the internet is just not okay. So let's get into it. Hi there. If we haven't met yet, I'm Emily D. Baker. I'm the badass lawyer, host of The Emily Show podcast, and I am a legal commentator breaking down the legal shit behind the news and pop culture stories that we all want to talk about. I have been a licensed attorney for over 15 years, but this is not legal advice. I am a big fan of the cursey words, so headphones are recommended. This is where the law nerds unite with facts, not fuckery. Y'all, before we even get into documents, and I'm going to try to get to as many questions as I can kind of at the end. I'm going to break down a little bit about what happened on Twitter today. I'm not going to get deep into it. There were absolutely things that were unacceptable on Twitter today. And then there is a new filing. This new filing is a request for status conference. It's literally calling mom. It's like, Judge, y'all, we need to talk. We need to talk. So for all of you who have not been on Twitter today, I applaud you. Sometimes Twitter can be wild. So I'm going to catch you up real quick, and then we're just gonna go with the things. Twitter today, there are accounts who were doxing, who were threatening, who were DMing people who are not super related to this case, but like tangentially related to the case from what I gather. Some of the people reached out to me as well, DM'd me. I advised, it's not really lawyerly advice, but I was like, these are the things I would do in this situation, and make sure that if you have contact with one of the attorneys in this case to have contact. I today said, talk to Saltsy, because he was getting the same types of threats I was getting today. There were death threats on Twitter today against myself, Michael Saltz, and others who are, it seems to be potential witnesses in this case. I didn't get into it asking them about that when they DM'd me, the things that they were getting DM'd. I got DM'd like, I don't know what to do. And then they showed me a lot of the screenshots of what was being said to them. Those are not things I'm going to share. They are not mine to share. But what I will say is that they were horrible. They were unacceptable. The threats that were made to me are unacceptable. Threats made to anyone online are unacceptable. Like, let's just be with that. Like, we don't dox people. We don't threaten people's lives. Some of the things, just awful. And accounts would like go up, go down, go up, go down, go up, go down. Accounts said stuff about the people that, Salty, myself, and other accounts. And I don't want to bring more attention to that, because often when people pull this kind of fuckery, they want the attention. The problem is the backdrop for this is an ongoing case, which means all of this shit ends up in court and being investigated. On my end, for the things that have happened directly related to me, I'm handling it. I appreciate you. It's being taken care of on my end for the things that I need to do. But for others who may experience this online, try not to engage, screenshot everything. If there are threats, notify local police, and kind of take it from there. I broke that down. That's what I was breaking down on Instagram when these filings went up, is that I was breaking down on Instagram, hey, let's just talk about cyber harassment in general. We've seen this just happen with Trisha Paytas. We've seen her phone number doxed, her business doxed, her screamed at, and like, from my opinion, verbally assaulted over the internet. So we've been talking about that. And then with all holy hell popping off on Twitter today, I was like, it's a good time to remind everyone to have two-factor authentication on, to have their accounts locked down, talk about cyber and personal security and awareness, and just kind of generally talk about those things. And then there were new filings, and everybody in Instagram was like, there's new filing. And I was like, okay. And then my alert. And then I was like, oh, as I started scrolling through those, I was like, that's my face. Okay. And everybody's like, can we just have a conversation? And now we're here, just having a first look conversation. So if I don't get into all of the super chats and all of the new members and thanking everybody and all the questions, I am sorry. I will do my best to get to stuff, but also it is late. The mods literally rode in on their horses, that emoji on Twitter where people like hop onto the back of the horse. The mods were like, we got it, because it is not our normal day. We have a collab up on this channel tomorrow morning. We have all of the stuff. Like, we have all of the stuff happening. So I'm going to try to get to everything that we can. And we'll see. So let's just hop into it. First of all, thank you for everyone who super chatted. I'm not going to be looking at the chat a ton until we get through this a little bit. So that's where we're at. Kimberly, I don't know what pulled the string that started all of this. I think we will figure out what pulled the string that started all of this. At the end of the day, I am comfortable with the people I work with in the cyber realm. It's been a day. Creep Show is here. I didn't even see you. Creep Show. Hi. I don't know what's happening, but I'm here. Twitter threats and new filings. And that's where we're at. So Creep Show, thank you for the support. Thank you. I see a couple others that are saying thank you for the awesome content. You guys are welcome. Thank the mods too. Let's just ride. So let's just ride. Let's just pull these documents up and see what they say. What I'm not going to do, and what I'm going to remind everyone. One, these are all allegations like any other document. So we're just going to do as much as we can to get through these and see what squares with what I've seen go down on the internet today, because I have gotten quite a lot of screenshots today. So I'm going to see what squares with just what I've experienced and tell you guys what my experience was with today. Two, we are not going to speculate about anyone who's involved. We are not going to threaten, harass, or anything like that. You guys know that. The law nerds are above the fuckery. We're here for facts. And the facts are absolutely what we're here to do. So you guys, we're going to do our best. Thank you for being here. Let's jump in. Let's jump in. Let's jump in. We're going to make this as big as we can. This is the request for status conference. So this is the motion, like, Your Honor, we need to fucking talk. Can we talk? We need to talk. Your Honor, we need to talk. Mom, he's bothering me. That's what, and I don't mean to joke, because this shit on Twitter today was so serious. Please don't take my jokes in any way demeaning or degrading the seriousness of the shit that went down on Twitter and the people that were affected by that. It's just, but it is what it is. Introduction. Defendants seek the court's assistance with what they believe to be an urgent matter. Plaintiff's counsel, Michael Saltz. Look, I'm going to interpose it with Saltzy. It's what we call him. I now take objection to him being called by his proper name because it just sounds weird. Saltz is making public accusations to a large audience on social media that defendant Paulson is engaging in the federal crime of hacking into his Twitter and Gmail accounts. He has followed that with separate tweets of what he calls, quote, evidence of her guilt, and is discussing that evidence with his Twitter followers all in public. In the last 2 days, he has posted a number of tweets about this accusation. He is prosecuting his trumped up criminal charges against Ms. Paulson in front of a large public audience. I take issue with the use of the word prosecuting, but sure. See declaration of Catherine Paulson. Now he has gone so far as to suggest that undersigned counsel is involved in this felonious scheme. Well, we've moved from murderous scheme to felonious scheme. Interesting. Okay. He sent emails to me this morning threatening that he will work with federal authorities, which I'm just Emily interjection. Cyber threats generally go to federal authorities. That's where they go. And he will be pressing charges and demanding an explanation of my involvement in the crime. I will be interested to see how that shakes out. He included additional very dramatic, but entirely false accusations against Ms. Paulson in these emails. This conduct is unacceptable. I will just say, as are the threats that were leveraged against people on fucking Twitter today. Myself included. Defendants request the court's immediate assistance to put a halt to it and place constraints on counsel's public behavior and use of frivolous threats of criminal charges against opposing counsel. In Lori Ann's declaration, I will just say that Lori Ann spelled out that opposing counsel was trying to make bar complaints against Michael Saltz. So, like, all the gloves have come the fuck off at this point. I said in the Lori Ann declaration, it was like hockey players like throwing off their gloves. Like, we're gloves off, helmets off. I don't know if we're even in hockey anymore. This might be the MMA at this fucking point. This might just be the MMA. And if the courts put constraints on Saltz, I imagine the court would also put constraints on KJ, because Saltz, from my observation, generally responds to stuff that KJ says and doesn't generally pop off himself, because counsel has a right to respond to public allegations made about the case. So if KJ didn't say anything, then it would be really hard for him to argue that he had the grounds to say anything himself. Use of frivolous threats of criminal charges against opposing counsel. I'm very fascinated to see what that is. Defendants request the urgent scheduling of a status conference. I mean, at this point, it seems that the court has to be involved, but the court is going to read this. No, the research attorney is going to read this and be like, what in the ever-loving fuck is happening in this case? Seriously. Also, why have we dropped line 46? Why are we now at 45? I'm so confused. Argument: from the outset of this lawsuit, plaintiffs, through their attorney Michael Saltz, have litigated their case largely on social media. Are they the only ones? Because I'll let you decide. You let me know. Are plaintiffs the only ones who have talked about this case on social media? I need chat. I need you to let me know. Mr. Saltz has very frequently posted tweets about this case. And I need somebody to just be like, this you, and show me all of the tweets that everyone else has posted too. Because, okay, about this case, which involves a very prominent social media personality. Not at the moment, though, because Tati's not been on social. Has it been a year yet? It's been like almost a year. And there's no way she's coming back in January. Like, AdSense is down in January. There's no way anyone's doing anything in January. So, Mr. Saltz has very frequently posted tweets. I read that. For all of you that are new here, ADD and dyslexic, I lose my place sometimes. Plus, the line is single-spaced and the writing is double-spaced, so I can't even track to the line, which makes it hard to read for your girl. I feel personally attacked. I'm teasing. The majority of the content on Twitter following of more than 5,400 people. The majority of the content on his Twitter account is about this one case, and most of his tweets are aimed at harassing and taunting Miss Paulson. For those of you that follow Saltzy's Twitter, let me know if you think that's true. Including frequent accusations of wrongdoing. Like deleting things? Or stuff, maybe? With respect to this case and other unconnected matters. He even resorted to aiming taunting personal attacks at her recently. I have not seen that. Hopefully they will cite it, because that I have not seen. To this case and other unconnected matters, he even resorted to aiming taunting personal attacks at her recently, criticizing her publicly for deliberately spending too much time on her work. Oh, her work being the internet. Cool. Operating a YouTube channel and not enough time with her family and her friends. Her work is the sole source of income in her family. Footnote 2, is it sassy? Nope. All right, these all go to the declaration. We're ignoring the footnotes from here on out on this page. They are not sassy. They just go to declarations. A YouTube channel that Mr. Saltz promoted via his Twitter account and mentioned in his tweets reliably, quote, covers the filings in this case. Well, yes, we are all very invested. Because of Mr. Saltz's tweets, and with the assistance of that YouTube channel and others, with the assistance? Oh, I see. I see where we're going with this. With the assistance of that YouTube channel and others, filings in this case immediately get broadcast page by page to hundreds of thousands of viewers. Hi, we're immediately broadcasting this page by page. Are there hundreds of thousands of us here yet? I don't think so, but okay. Darn it. Okay, we'll have to go to the declaration and see. The result of these efforts has been the creation of a massive social media circus surrounding the lawsuit. Oh, I take exception. I take exception. Because the only thing creating a circus around this lawsuit is the amount of stuff that has been said by a party to this lawsuit. Because the filings wouldn't say the shit they say if the shit that happened on social didn't happen. Because if you notice, the business partner lawsuit that was filed right before this has had like 3 filings. Why? Because no one is fucking talking on social media in videos about it. That's why. We cover the filings and then the filings stop. And then we cover the filings and then the filings stop. Like every other lawsuit we cover. The only one moving this fast is the Girardi case because there are so many lawsuits involved in that case. The only reason this case has so much shit happening is because one of the parties keeps talking about it. That's the only reason. And I've said that the whole case. She says shit in a video. It ends up in a precipice and it ends up before the court. If there was no talkie, there'd be nothing to file on. And then there'd be nothing for all of us to all talk about. Wouldn't that be nice? Okay. Do y'all agree? Like, let me know in the chat or the comments if y'all agree. The result of these efforts has been to create a massive social media circus. I object for the record that the circus is not being created by the filings. Until recently, that circus has been a distraction and a source of harassment directed at Ms. Paulson. Okay. But it has now become much more serious. Well, yeah, there were death threats all over fucking Twitter today. Mr. Saltz has accused Ms. Paulson of hiring hackers to break into his own Gmail and Twitter accounts. He made that and other unfounded accusations in an email to me. Emails. But is also disseminating the criminal hacking accusation on his Twitter account in a series of tweets. He has gone further and suggested in an email that I personally was involved in this made-up criminal scheme and threatened that he is contacting federal authorities who will press charges. Well, once they find the people, that's what federal authorities do. That doesn't mean that that's her. We're going to continue. The truth is that Ms. Paulson has been the victim of a barrage of attempts by people she does not know to fabricate evidence to make it appear she is trying to hack into the social media accounts of others. Well, then why lay out Saltzy in all of this? And why not just say, yes, there are all these people on social media making attacks on you. They're also making attacks on us. And then just provide the evidence for that. Instead of trying to lay Saltzy out. Okay, we're going to keep going. Because maybe the declarations will make it more clear. This scheme is disturbingly simple and can happen to anyone with an email account. First, the perpetrators, it can be anyone, go into a Gmail account. Oh, we're going to learn how. That's what's happening. Go into a Gmail account they have created and add Ms. Paulson's Gmail address, which is publicly available on her YouTube channel. Oh, we all agree about that now. Good. as the recovery email for their own account. Gmail then sends a notification to the recovery address as a security measure, but that recovery address is now Miss Paulson's, and it looks as though she has been tampering with these accounts. I would just like to say that you can't add an account as a recovery account without the code, because the recovery account also gets a code. So you can't actually add it unless you have access to the recovery account. I'm just going to say. A similar fraud is being perpetrated with respect to Twitter accounts. The posting of a find law review about Mr. Saltz in Miss Paulson's name and a complaint about Mr. Saltz emailed to his own firm, also in Miss Paulson's name. And once again, that could all be true for sure. All that needs to happen is absolutely a subpoena to get the accounts, and then you will see what happened from the accounts. Because if that's true, or if they have access to her accounts, then that could be true. But then you just turn over the accounts. I don't know why you would lay out the other attorney. To me, based on what they're saying, the conversation would go, oh my God, right? Us too. Let us turn over what we have so we can resolve this together. It would seem to be, if everyone's getting hacked or everyone's getting whatever, that you would just try to work together on it instead of just laying out the other side. Just my opinion. Mr. Saltz apparently was targeted by someone who used Miss Paulson's email address, available to any member of the public. Just not anyone can email you from an email address, if that's what they're trying to say. And he decided to publicly blame this apparent crime on Miss Paulson. The accusations will no doubt continue to propagate and be refreshed by new tweets from Mr. Saltz, all for the purpose of keeping the social media trial of Miss Paulson going. Well, at least it's clear what he's arguing. Mr. Saltz is using this lawsuit as a vehicle for publicly harassing his client's opponents. In that game, he and his clients win, no matter how baseless his evidence turns out to be. His clients are... Okay. Conclusion, defendants respectfully request an urgent setting of a status conference, which is fair given the amount of fuckery going on. Conference of counsel. Shortly after receiving Mr. Saltz's accusatory emails and reviewing his recent tweets, defendants demanded that this matter be aired to the court as soon as possible. It was aired to all of Twitter today. Tell you what. And propose some joint effort to do so. I don't know why they couldn't just do that in an email, though. Instead of responding to that, they tried. Mr. Saltz continued to send me accusatory emails demanding that I refute the wild inferences he is drawing from his, quote, evidence. They did not respond to my request to discuss a joint submission to the court. Okay, so then there's something else going on. Defendants submit that this conference requirement is satisfied here. So they had a conversation at some point. Okay, let's pull up the declarations and just see what the fuck they say. Let's just do that. Because there are declarations. Whose declaration should we do first? The lawyers or KJ's? Chat, I'm waiting on you because I need some water. Oh, my chat is slow. Oh, okay. You guys came through. You're like KJ's declaration first. All right, let's do that one first. Thank you, chat. Thank you, guys. I know I have 2 cups of water going this evening. I have my unicorn cup, and do you see that your girl likes iridescence? All right. KJ, then the lawyers. Let's pull it up. All right. Catherine Paulson declares as follows. Again, first reading, I glanced at this while I was on Instagram, and then it was apparent that all hell was breaking loose. I categorically deny the accusations currently being made against me by Michael Saltz via Twitter and via emails from him to my attorney, and I have direct or indirectly hacked or attempted to hack or asked others to hack or attempt to hack into his email, Twitter, or any other account, or the accounts of the, I don't know why witnesses in quotes, but quote witnesses. He is accusing me of hacking. I have no involvement in any of the alleged hacking Mr. Saltz is accusing me of, other than to receive notifications after the fact that appear to show that my email address was somehow involved with some attempt to do. We're going to try that again. Other than to receive notifications after the fact that appear to show that my email address was somehow involved with some attempt to do something to someone else's account. Y'all, you can't be put on as a recovery account without approving it, without a code. I mean, okay. Since yesterday, I have received a number of such email notifications that my email account has been associated with Gmail accounts of people I do not know. I have also received notifications from Twitter that appear to reflect some attempts to use my email address to gain access or make changes to someone's Twitter account. But, okay. I did not have any involvement in any of these activities other than to receive notifications after the fact. I have also received emails, quote, confirming activities that apparently were done using my email address. But it doesn't say that her email address was hacked. But it doesn't, doesn't she say she uses two-factor authentication? So if people are using an email address, wouldn't you have to have access to the email address? I have so many questions. Such as posting reviews or making a complaint. Oh, I guess if posting reviews and making a complaint on those forms that you can leave any email address, that might absolutely be people trying to fuck with her to Mr. Saltz's law firm, but were in fact done by someone other than me using my email address. So if you don't have to email it in, I could see how that could happen. Here again, I had nothing to do with these activities. Indeed, I just received a quote confirmation that I have successfully subscribed to the hacker newsletter via hackernewsletter.com. Y'all are going to be tempted. Do not go to hackernewsletter.com. Because if somebody is trolling this on her, it would seem that both attorneys will be able to work this out. Do not get curious because you don't want to play in the grayness of the web or the darkness of the web. I did not request this subscription. I attached it as Exhibit A, a true and correct copy of some of the email notifications I've received. In the case of notifications from Gmail, when I attempted to undo the connection between my account and this other person's account, in response to the notifications, I received a message that the other person's account is no longer active. I believe that some of many tens of thousands or more of online followers of this lawsuit, and more specifically of Mr. Saltz's frequent tweets about this case, are behind this effort to manufacture evidence against me. So that's the end of her declaration. Okay, let's go to the attorney's declaration and see what it says. You guys, if people are trying to troll KJ by trying to do this stuff and get it pinned on her, then it's not hard for me to conceive that at some point, both Mr. Brown and Mr. Saltz will have to work together to try to figure out who those people are. Because if that is true, then both attorneys can focus their energy on finding those people, and those people will probably be reported to the federal authorities. It is just not, it is not a good idea to try to insert yourself in a case like this if that's what happened. Y'all, let's get into Mr. Brown's declaration. Do we need lip gloss for this? Yes. I'm literally morphing into Peter Mon in front of your eyes, but my lip gloss has a light on it because it's Gerard Cosmetics. Hey, Law Nerds, we have over 6,000 friends in here. Did you guys hit the like and the subscribe and stuff? Do those things. Do the YouTube-y things. Declaration of Michael P. Brown. And yes, for those of you new to this case, both attorneys are Michael. So we call one Saltzy because his last name is Saltz and he's sassy on the Twitter. And the other one is just Michael. I'm a lawyer with law firm. I make this declaration based on personal knowledge and familiarity with the proceedings in this matter. I feel like all of us are there at this point with the familiarity of the proceedings in this matter. Below is a screenshot of Salty's Twitter homepage showing he has more than 5,400 followers. Salty's Twitter, has anyone checked Salty's social blade? Like, what is happening during this case? I imagine the social blade is like, Salty. This, by the way, nerds who know what this is. Hold on, I'm trying to make this big. Nerds who know what this is. Put it in the chat. Below is a screenshot of a tweet Mr. Saltz posted on New Year's Day, 2021, in which he publicly opines that Miss Paulson should spend more time with her family instead of creating content for her YouTube channel, her only source of income. So she says she is deliberately doing what she's doing. At Michael Salty SQ, weird strategy, don't you think? So this is clearly part of a Twitter thread, and we don't have the rest of the Twitter thread. And he asks, deliberately doing what? Was she referring to deliberately being live nonstop all day, every day, away from family and friends and life? Was she referring to regularly making statements helpful to our case? Sassy Twitter. What was the context of the statement? Which video timestamp? So it sounds like there is more in the thread of this Twitter. They are saying that this is kind of disparaging or besmirching. We'll see. A judge may be like, seriously, this is what's happening, but it also depends on the context. So we'll see. I saw it pop up. Yeah. YouTube famous now. Below is a screenshot from a video. This is me. Below is a screenshot from a video on a YouTube channel that Mr. Saltz has promoted on his Twitter account. Have I been promoted? I know there's been comments. We'll allow the promotion to slide as a question. All I remember seeing is me tagged in a question about my live viewership and a post about them watching me, and then a post where they talked about me and Deaf Noodles and Cheryl's World. This channel regularly focuses its videos on this lawsuit because so many things have been filed in this lawsuit. Stuff gets filed, then we talk. Stuff gets filed, then we talk. If there was less filed, we could move on and talk about Real Housewives more. This video covering plaintiffs' filing of their response to defendant's motion to dismiss, it can be found. Hey, it's a link. This video alone has so far drawn 143,000 views, has it? I remember this video. That's totally me. Of course, this is definitely the most flattering screenshot. We loves it. The background, by the way, is courtesy of Mod and YouTube Extraordinaire Tech Valor. Thank you. It makes the background look good. Oh, yeah, this was the New Year's Day one. So much has happened since New Year's Day. So many filings. Below are screenshots of just a few of the tweets Mr. Saltz has posted to publicly accuse Miss Paulson of the crime of hacking. The first one was posted on January 16th. What day is it? Oh, today's the 18th. Has this been going on since, what was the 16th? Has this been going on since then? The others are just a few dozen that followed. KJ is Mr. Saltz's casual way of referring to Miss Paulson. I mean, it's the YouTube's casual way of referring to Miss Paulson. I feel like Salty just adapted it. We all know this tweet. Well, what do we have here? There appears to have been several hacking attempts today on my Google and Twitter accounts and possibly others. This is not the first time. It's not. Somebody at some point tried to get into his account the same day they tried to get into my account and a few others, which was very strange. Again, could be coincidence, but just. And then there are photos. We're going to need to see those. I actually do have Twitter pulled up so we could see them. Google verification code. Google received a request to use this email address to help recover Google account. Without a question, this is her business email. See, this is the code. So if you're changing to a recovery account, you need to have the code. Enter the code when asked for it to show that Google can reach you at. If you don't recognize with an S, without a crystal ball, somebody probably gave your email address by mistake. You can safely ignore this email. And then there were reset password attempts, just showing that somebody was trying to get into his Twitter. which is why you have two-factor authentication on, friends. Two-factor authentication. This looks like it was in a tweet thread, probably in that same tweet thread. It's a criminal offense. I can't imagine, given my background, that anyone would think I would not pursue this. That seems like a general statement. Because again, do you guys think this statement specifically says KJ, or do you think this statement specifically says this happened, it's a familiar email address, what's up? I want to know how you guys take it. How do you interpret that? I'm curious. And these look like they're cut from a chain, so it's hard to see what the other tweets were. What post? I will need that for a report to the authorities and the court. So it looks like he's responding to someone. And then this is from her. Why are you hacking my Gmail and trying to get into my YouTube account? These people are trying to hack my YouTube. I need context around these because these all look like they're in threads of conversation that are cut. God is great. Thank you for reaching out. Is it true your account was created at the same time as the other harassing SOC accounts surrounding this hacking issue, and that your account exists to support KJ and attack her detractors? I think we saw a lot of that on Twitter in the last 2 days. Your 4-day history is very interesting. So this is directly talking to one of those accounts. Attached as Exhibit A through C are true and correct copies of the emails Mr. Salt sent me this morning accusing Ms. Paulson of federal crimes and demanding that I explain my involvement. Attached as Exhibit D is a true and correct copy of the email I sent in response to Mr. Salt's accusations of federal criminal activity. I declare pursuant to the laws of penalty of perjury. Okay. Let's see. So this is fake complaint. This was sent today. That's today, right? This morning. Michael, there's a lot more than that going on. So this seems like it's an email from a thread. We should set a time to discuss. Be advised that one of our witnesses is now suicidal. You guys, that's never okay. Also, just a moment, because these, in other motions, we have seen other parties in this lawsuit say, I'm happy to make these emails available for the court. These can be viewed by the court or provided to the court. These can also be under seal. They chose to make these public. It's clear that they are aware that these will be reported on. Just because we have now touched on to the fact that someone that is involved in this case is receiving harassment and is having feelings of self-harm, if you have those feelings, please reach out to somebody who is in a professional capacity to help you. Threats that you are receiving online are not like a valuation on who you are. Putting these on blast, knowing the content of them, I do not like at all. So I'm going to cruise through this and scan past that part. This gets into very much that the witness, I'm just going to read this a little without it being on the screen because I have not read these all the way through. We have direct messages from your client threatening our witness with lawsuits if she shares her information with us. And there appears to be direct communication on Twitter with one of the harassers that made death threats and other threats against our witness. We are in the process of providing all this information to federal authorities. I mean, that's appropriate. And we'll be pressing charges once we determine all who are involved in the hacking attempts and the witness tampering. Also appropriate. The witness who was harassed suffers from autism, amongst other ailments, lacks the technical ability to have participated in any hacking attempt on your client, despite your client's false public claims to the contrary. Furthermore, we have uncovered evidence showing that the witness's email account was archived and accessed by your client's known and working email address. To that extent that she received said information, demand is hereby made that she immediately document its receipt and destroy the contents of said archive without reviewing them. So that is an email. Okay. So let me look at the other one before I pull it back up. And you guys, if once again, these are emails between two attorneys in an active case. So please do not Twitter sleuth to figure out who this person is. This is why these emails are generally provided under seal or provided at the court's request or quoted. Let me just make sure what's in the other one. Okay, this one doesn't seem to have anything regarding a witness. So just please be mindful. Michael, you should be made aware that the hacker has just stated on Twitter that she was hired by your clients to do what they did. You should check the account before it is deleted. Suffice it to say, very serious claims have now been made implicating your client in these and other matters. We ask that you take all steps to preserve any and all evidence so that a full forensic investigation. We also demand that you document and take control over the 24 Twitter accounts and the 3 email accounts. Oh, that was put out on Twitter today, that apparently belong to your client, to safeguard them from deletion due to her, quote, sock accounts now being exposed. Please confirm that you have done so and that such evidence can be preserved pursuant to the court's order. What do you guys think of that? Do you think that email is characterized the way that Brown characterized it? Because it sounds like this shit was said on Twitter, and if this shit was said on Twitter and this shit is real, you need to preserve evidence. That's how I read it. So that email was from 11:35 a.m. So it looks like the first one was from 10:03 a.m. I don't know which time zone. All the attorneys are on the West Coast. It's probably Pacific Standard Time, Emily. Do good with dates. The second one was from 11:35 a.m. So this was all happening as this shit was going down on Twitter. This next email's from 10:02 a.m. Okay. Mr. Brown, the other hacker is disclosing information of your client's plans to delete evidence and bring false charges against me. They claim that your clients gave them a special IP address and passwords to do their work on their behalf. Part of that was to sign myself up with various porn sites and then make police reports against me claiming that I am a pedophile. I did see that on Twitter today. The hackers claim to be 13 and 15 years old. They did claim that. They claimed they were hired by your clients through Facebook. They claimed that this was done to discredit me so that I could not prosecute the case. They also, which it's civil, so it's not prosecution, but the grammar on the threatening tweets today was appalling. They also claimed that they were told to try to hack into your client's accounts to make it look like she was being hacked too, so that she could pretend to be a victim. There is evidence of open communications and planning between your clients and the hacker's account, as all involved foreshadowed that they were going to hit us with a big surprise. There were big surprise tweets on the Twitter over the last week. We demand to know your involvement or knowledge. We demand to know what your involvement or knowledge was of these alleged plans. Be advised that we are immediately sending a subpoena to Twitter to obtain the full identity of these now admitted hackers that your client purportedly hired. So he said, this is what these people are saying. So we have to investigate what these people are saying. Though again, well, we'll get to that in a second. Sending subpoenas to Twitter. I assume under the circumstance, you will not be objecting to the subpoenas to Twitter. Be advised that the hackers claim to have documented all interactions with your clients. I don't think that email's horrific. Let me know what you think in the chat. I think that is this is what was said. This is what we're seeing. This is what we have to do. And then this is RE fake complaint. What was the other stuff titled? Fake complaint. Okay. This looks like 10:01 a.m. We need to get the court involved ASAP. Katie denies your allegations, and I certainly know nothing about any hacking or the other stuff. I do know that Katie is under a barrage of people attempting to link her Google account to people she does not know. It would be the least surprising thing in the world if it turns out that one of your thousands of followers was setting her up. I am skeptical about your allegations, but they should be aired in front of the judge. I also have concerns that I want addressed. I don't think we can get her attention on a holiday. Yeah, it's a federal holiday, but perhaps we should send an email today or something. And that's it. Okay, y'all, first, we do not know, other than what these accounts said, what is underlying them. These accounts threatened people. These accounts popped back off at KJ and made allegations towards her, saying she's got all these sock accounts, she's got all these emails. These accounts made statements about me and like, hey, did you get what we left for you? And this kind of stuff. I did receive emails. I believe that those people probably sent those emails based on the fact that they knew them. All kinds of stuff. What I don't understand is why this was an opportunity to drag Saltsy instead of saying, yeah, what they're doing to people on your side or people who are witnesses is exactly what they're doing to KJ. So can we get this in front of the court together and deal with it instead of taking it as an opportunity to attack the other side? You guys, well, we now have Saltsy's emails. I don't think they said anything other than heads up, shit's popping off on Twitter and this is what's being alleged, because that's what was being alleged. What was being alleged on Twitter was, well, we were hired by KJ. We were told to do this. We were told to dox this person. And again, those people could absolutely be trolling her. But then why not address it that way? I don't understand the direction this is coming from. I see those emails that Saltsy giving a heads up like, yo, Twitter's popping off. It seems like Brown is reading these as, you caused this. Like, you talking about the case on Twitter caused this to happen, is how I'm reading Brown's motion and response. But also the way I see this case is that Saltsy talks on Twitter after KJ has said something in a video or something on Twitter. So I don't know. I don't know what started all of this. I don't know what popped off these accounts. I know that they popped off in multiple directions, including at me. The thing is, KJ did post on Twitter that tweet of, your emails are being watched. And that's what kind of prompted some of this talk by Saltsy from my perspective. Given the current circumstances, was this prior tweet supposed to be an admission of hacking? Email communications go both ways, trust me. Just like I'm being watched, so are you. We know everything. I mean, I don't know if that email's out there from January 7th and then all of this shit pops off, then I don't know where the wrong in saying, hey, heads up, this is happening. I just don't see. I read those emails from this as this is what's happening. This is what these people are saying. The threats on Twitter were horrific. So I don't know. I don't, for those that were being threatened, I don't know who's at the bottom of that, but I think it should be investigated. I would imagine both sides would want to investigate it. I don't understand the strategy behind not saying, I don't think my client's involved, but we do need to figure out who's doing this. Like, I don't understand why go in on this, but it does seem like Brown's perspective of the case is that somehow Saltsy's behavior on Twitter has caused this to happen to KJ. And because Saltsy is doing things on Twitter, KJ is the subject of these people who have made threats and said they're making threats on her behalf. Does that mean that that's with her authority? No. Does that mean that people are popping off doing that? Yes. So people are asking about what happened to me. Yes, I was threatened in all of those tweets today. Yes, I was. Yes, I was. I was told in some of those tweets to stop talking about this case, to be careful who I cover, that I would be doxxed. We're just trying to talk about the legal documents. This is out in the public. I think that including those emails was less than ideal, but it absolutely gives, you guys can decide how you feel about it for yourself. For those of you that saw what popped off on Twitter today, you saw it. I'm hoping there's not too many screenshots still out there, because people were very, very much threatened today. And those threats were really awful. So I don't want people to be, continue to be hurt by that, or continue to be, harassed by that, or traumatized by that, because I know how difficult it can be to deal with stuff like that, especially if you're not used to it. It's just a very interesting thing. But there were, what I saw go down today, and this started, just to be clear and open, this started with me receiving emails over the weekend. I don't go on Twitter on Sunday. I take Social Sunday off. Glad that I did, because a lot of this popped off yesterday and then today. But there were threats to people who had, it looked like, commented on the case. There were threats to myself and other YouTube channels. There were threats against Mr. Saltz. Then there was this flip somewhere in the middle of the day where then it was like, we're sorry for what we did. KJ did this. KJ told us to do this, blah, 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 blah. And they were laying out things that they alleged KJ to have done. Then later on in the day, they flipped back and said, we're back after you. We're back doing this. We're back on it. So there was this flipping back and forth throughout the day with this. It was quite a lot, but here's the thing. Someone has decided to insert themselves into this lawsuit. And I don't know what the impetus was for it. I don't know why this started. The problem is then there are screenshots, and this is why people are going to be suspicious, because there's those screenshots of KJ intimating, we're watching you. We know everything. If I were working a case and saw that and then saw everything that went down today, I'd be asking the other attorney, what do you mean? We know everything. We are watching you. What do you mean by that? I have questions. So I want to know what you guys think. Do you think that Brown characterized Salty's emails the way you read them, or we read them together? Does that ring true for you? Alyssa says, could they just be stupid kids looking for attention? Absolutely could. Like, we don't know the facts here. We know what we saw on Twitter. We know what's in these filings, but we don't know who's behind the Twitter accounts. So all we know is what we've seen. We don't know we know what was tweeted, but we don't know by who. So that's all going to come out at some point. That is going to be investigated. And that's going to be investigated. And it's not just Saltz that's looking into it. I'm absolutely looking into the IP addresses that came for me. You bet your ass I am. But it's not just for me. It's also for the other people who are harassed by the same accounts. I have the ability to look into that. Others may not. And it's fuckery to threaten people on Twitter over a case that's being discussed on YouTube. No one should be harassed in this case. And by no one, I mean no one. KJ shouldn't receive harassment. KJ shouldn't receive threats. KJ shouldn't have people calling the police to her house. Except I understand there was one time where there was actual well check concerns. That aside, people shouldn't be harassing her either. The thing is, what has happened all along in this case is the continued activity on social media that continues to drum this stuff up. So as much as here with the law nerds, we're like, facts, not fuckery. Everything that went down today is fuckery. And some of this motion, you guys, some of this motion is fuckery. It's fuckery too. You know why? Because I don't understand why the conversation wasn't, and there's obviously more that went on behind the scenes here, but why the conversation wasn't, hey, you're saying this happened. We're also monitoring what's going on Twitter. This is also happening to our client to, we think, make our client look bad. Can we all just figure out the root of it? Because it seems like in this one instance, everyone should be on the same side. Everyone should be on the same side. Brown should be like, yeah, this is bullshit. This is somebody trying to make my client look bad. And if this is somebody making my client look bad, I need to know who the fuck it is and where they came from. And Salt is like, this person's trying to intimidate my witness and hack my accounts and make death threats against me and others on social. So we want to know who it is too. Something got twisted in this, and it's confusing to me because generally when I've had this stuff happen in criminal cases where witnesses have been threatened, where things have really gone kind of sideways in cases, normally when I call the defense attorney and I'm like, I'm aware of these things happening, the defense attorney also wants to shut it down. They're like, we don't want anyone to get hurt. We don't want anything to happen. We're investigating. I've never said, check your client. I've always let them know what's up, because if it's not their client doing it and someone trying to do it to help, it makes it worse for the person who's in the hot seat. So if someone's trying to help, it's just going to make it worse. If this is people just fucking around because this is talked about on social, then that should be able to be gotten to the bottom of with some subpoenas. If there's nothing to, if there's no there, some subpoenas should show if an account was accessed. Subpoenas should show who was behind the Twitter accounts. Subpoenas should show what IP addresses those came back to. If there's really nothing under that, then it should be pretty easy to sort out. The court, however, is going to be like, what in the ever-loving fuck is happening in this case? Y'all, it's January. This was filed right around Halloween. Why have I heard so much from you? And in this case, we have a complaint that was filed. Then there was the motion to not delete your shit. Then a stipulation regarding that later. Then the motion to dismiss based on jurisdiction. Then the response, opposition to the motion to dismiss. Then a precipice because there was more information that came out. Then a reply from KJ's side. Then the Lorianne declaration, or a surreply. There was the surreply and then the Lorianne declaration. And now this. So much stuff has happened. And a lot of it's happened because of behavior on social media. I'm going to try to get to a few questions. There are 7,200 law nerds up in here. Go ahead and hit the like, do the YouTube things. I'm going to try to answer a few questions. I don't know how to pronounce this screen name. Hash. No, that's not a hash. Hash is the pound //. We'll go with //. This case isn't even about Tati anymore. How many of you have forgotten that Saltsy is not the other party in this lawsuit? It has been made so about him that everyone has forgotten Tati is involved. Everyone's forgotten that Tati is involved. Everyone's forgotten. Frickin' Ragkin says, take possession of all, lock up all the socials, no socials to pop off on, no tweets to talk about, problem solved. Agreed. And if people are trying to hack it and the attorney takes possession, they can see contemporaneously what's happening. So, ML, is Brown going after Saltz due to what Lorianne claimed he communicated to her? She colored him as wanting to go after Saltz and make claims. I don't know if there's strategies to go after Saltz. I don't know. It's just, we need more lip gloss. Yes, it lights up. And it has a mirror. So I can see it when it lights up. We need more lip gloss for this shit. There's a mirror. There's not enough lip gloss in the world for this shit. I gotta be honest. Okay, I missed some. I'm gonna try to sweep what I've got on super chats. We missed it. Lori Smith, hello. Have a coffee on me. Thank you so much. Nash Dog Mom said, agree. Ellie B, hello. Thank you for the super chat. Living Sweetly. Of course. Living Sweetly said, I can tell you that after making comments about KJ's behavior in your live, someone tried to unsuccessfully hack into my account. Remember that nothing is anonymous on the internet or with a VPN. And then it disappeared as I was reading it. I'm sorry that happened to you. Coding Roses said, hell no, Brown is unprofessional. He's stopped stooping to KJ's levels. He's being childish. He's mad that Salty has gone after KJ and is now going after him. I mean, that's definitely the perception for sure. Michael, thank you. Thank you for the super chat. Little Kitty Cat, thank you for the super chat. I think Salsa's response was very professional and legit concerned. I found Brown's response defensive and unprofessional and sus. Did I just say Brown sus? We're not playing Among Us, people. Sorry, my kid plays a lot of Among Us, but I appreciate the use of the word sus. Rena G said, as much as I would miss salty tweets, I would not be opposed to an order for everyone to shut the fuck up. Yeah, I'm not opposed at this point either. The thing about lawyer communications on social media like this is lawyers don't tend to initiate those communications. It's responsive communications and evidence gathering. So if somebody goes on social and is like, hey, I saw this happen, it's completely appropriate to say, where did you see that happen? Is that on a video? Do you have a timestamp? How did you interpret that? If somebody says, this is going on about the case, it's appropriate for the lawyer to respond. But if there was nothing to respond to, there would be no response. Rachel Casper said, get her computers and devices for forensic. I mean, if she is being attempted to hack too, then you would think she would want to lock all those down too, and maybe she will. Scott Pittman said, for your grain-free vodka fund, thank you so much. Chloe said, whoever this is, they are inserting themselves into a federal lawsuit. Sounds expensive. Isn't making threats like a whole other level of lawsuit? Yes, Chloe, it is. Time to Fly said, so much shenanigans. Agreed. Somebody was saying that they just checked Twitter and stuff's still happening. Jessica, I completely agree that threatening people on Twitter is immature. The thing is, some people can feel very, very intimidated and threatened by that, especially some of the DMs I was sent by people who were getting really harassed today were really, really fucking awful. Just really fucking awful. And there's a level of like, neener, come get me, I don't care to those. Something just doesn't sit right. Snowy says, I'm curious to see the next filing. I mean, there may or may not be a filing. This may just be addressed to the court. It just depends on if there's a minute order and the court says, y'all get in here. Y'all, we need to chat. And then they do a Zoom call. But again, if they have a meet and confer, that will be between the attorneys and the judge. There are a lot of questions here, for sure. Lucy M said, I feel like they're just using this declaration to air the witness's mental health. Maybe that could be seen as intimidating. It's public. And they know many people will see it. Yep. Clearly watching you as tweets are happening. If there's more stuff going on Twitter, I'm here. So that's what we're doing. Thank you so much. I appreciate that, Diva, just because it is distracting to me what people are doing on the socials. I appreciate it. Cindy, mods, thank you for deleting comments by a creator trolling for subs. Much appreciated. Understanding if this has to be wiped to no hard feelings. Cindy, thank you for bringing that to the mods' attention. If that's happening, I am all for friendly conversation in the chat, but trolling for subs in the chat's just not cool. So I haven't seen what's going on because the mods are handling it, and we have 7,200 law nerds in it. But thank you for calling out. The mods do a great job, which is why when we ride late and it gets busy like this, they are just so on it. So thank you very much. I appreciate that. So Tara R., the court is not going to be impressed by all this. No, the court's going to be fucking annoyed, I would imagine, for sure. So let me see if there's any other questions, you guys. Thank you so much, Liz. We are at almost 7,300 law nerds. So go ahead and hit that like. You guys, if you have any questions, please get them in. I'm going to sweep the questions at the end and then get off. The mods have been on, and we have The reason I wanted to address this tonight is because we have a really exciting collaboration on the channel tomorrow with Christine Snaps, and we're going to talk about court of public opinion, and it's going to be a really lighthearted chat. We're going to start getting into the Haley Page case just a little bit and talk about creators and the process of being a creator and what that looks like on social and getting started. And Christine went viral so fast. We're going to talk about all of that. So I really did want to just clear this out, talk about the harassment on Twitter, let you guys know how to respond to something like that if it does happen to you. Ask you to just, if you see it, screenshot it, stay out of it. Don't turn the head of the snake on you. It's fine. I'm fine. I thank you for the screenshots and the DMs. You guys are the best. So Christine says, can the judge order everyone to zip it on social media, including you? They can do a gag order in the case, but it generally does not go to reporting on court documents. Also, the things attorneys say in the course of litigation are generally covered by litigation privilege. Reporting on the documents, if they are accurately reported, is covered by different types of privileges, but you can report on public documents. So if they don't want public documents reported on, they will file them under seal. And we'll see that in the Haley Page case. There is definitely stuff that's under seal in that case that are exhibits to the court that are not accessible. There are things redacted out of documents. It's in the Britney Spears case as well, the conservatorship case. There is stuff under seal and redacted. So there are ways to not have everything public. We saw that in the Lorianne declaration. Salty said, these are the things in this email. They're available for the court if you need them, instead of airing it all out. But Brown aired it all out. So there we go. There could absolutely be a gag order in this. We'll see. I mean, they asked for there to be a gag order on Salty, and I imagine Salty's response to the court, lawyer speculation, monuments to the gods, would be, I would have nothing to say about this case if the opposing party didn't say anything about this case. I am happy to never talk about this on social media, other than gathering evidence in a case that's played out on social media. So if the other party doesn't say anything, I will do nothing other than gather evidence, which is their right. So many trees have died. Well, actually, maybe not, because these are all digital filings. So, all right. I'm going to see if I can catch up a few questions because I'm way behind on this, and see what we have. The court system needs to catch up with social media influence. Perhaps this case will set a precedent. I also think that the awareness here, talking to everyone about what's happening, watching it play out live, can help everyone say, okay, these are the areas where I have concern. So as our lawmakers start addressing stuff like this, you have a choice and an opinion and thoughts about how these things should play out. The UK has different cyber harassment laws than we do. That's easier to get to people who make these kinds of cyber threats. We have gotten past the point of like, can't y'all just not be a dick? Like we've blown past that in the use of social media and online social media. So I hope that as these things play out and we talk about them, it allows you to say, hey, where would I like to see a change made? And how would I like to see the laws address stuff like this? Because more and more laws are going to be discussed regarding social media, and the case law is going to have to keep catching up with regards to it. 647, I went down a Christine Snaps rabbit hole last night because of you. Thank you. You're so welcome. She is a wholesome creator with really fun, laughable content. I don't know how she does it. Her content is very rich in like 60 seconds. I say it's going to be short, and 40 minutes later, y'all are like, girl, I thought you said it was going to be quick. And I'm like, we're under an hour and a half. It's quick. Lisa said, question, do you think this might be happening so that a gag order will be put in place? I really can't speculate as to why this is happening because I don't know what thread was pulled that popped this off. I really, really don't. It's just so strange to me. But the other thing is, for me, that stuff happened that was directed at me after there were tweets out that said things like, Emily has no idea what's coming. Emily's in so much trouble. And other creators have covered that. I've seen Drama and Opinions cover that. I know that Truth Sleuth has covered that. So if you want to see those things on Twitter, just go support those creators and their videos about it. But those tweets were made not that long ago. So then to be receiving tweets that are in fact death threats and emails that are the same is just, the timing is very interesting to me, because it was, you don't know what's coming. She's in for a surprise, these sorts of things. So I don't know. There's been a lot said up about me on the Twitters. So that's what it is. I'm going to see if there's any other questions. And then Carlos, hello. Question: is there any way for a judge to fast track this case to get it over with and done ASAP? No, it has to stay in the same order. I can't think she's too happy about everything that's going on. Cases have a certain set priority. I really do think that once they get into court and some of the fuckery gets dealt with, then the motion to dismiss and jurisdiction will be ruled on. The thing is, I'll get to that in just a second, Carlos. You've triggered a fantastic question, and then we're going to wrap up. This is like third wrap up. Once we get past the motion to dismiss, there shouldn't be much that happens other than discovery and then depositions. Like, there shouldn't be this much stuff. But for that to happen, there might have to be some orders with regard to social media. The thing is, the defense is now asking the court to bring everybody in for a meet and confer and to potentially make an order against Michael Saltz. But are they going to then have to acquiesce jurisdiction to allow the court to make such orders? We will see. It's something I hadn't thought through because we're doing a first response to this. But generally, until the motion to dismiss is resolved based on jurisdiction, the court can't do anything, because at that point, the court's authority over the case is still being challenged. So in this case, the defense has said to the court, we don't think you have authority yet. Like, you're not the boss of me yet. So until the motion to dismiss is done, we're still in the you're not the boss of me stage of this lawsuit. So I don't know what a court will be inclined to do. If the court will be inclined to say this is going to have to wait till after the motion to dismiss is heard. If the court's going to say, fine, do you want to withdraw the motion to dismiss and just have me take jurisdiction so I can deal with the fuckery? Then fine, then I'll be the boss. I'll be the boss of you. We'll see. I'm sure there will be some kind of a minute order. I hope there won't be any more Twitter fuckery. The law nerds are going to wait for the facts about who did what. We don't have those facts yet. And then tomorrow we're going to have coffee and cursey words at 11 a.m. with Christine Snaps, and we're finally going to determine real issues that matter. Please note the sarcasm about cereal, because we all just need a minute. But you guys, this is a mess. It's a mess. This case has become a fucking mess. It just keeps going. It just keeps going. Who would play you in a made-for-TV movie of this? Me. I'm just a YouTube lawyer anyway. Why not? There's just so much going on. Anyone else find it a little sus that KJ only seems to point to Emily as a lawyer covering this case when Uncivil and Nate are covering it as well? I know. I thought that KJ was the harbinger of women, but the people hearing it in this case are Tati and myself. But the thing is, I really just want to break down the documents in this case. The repeated personal attacks make all of that more difficult, but also we're just going to keep it moving. That's what we do here. Pam Marshall, I used to think this would be a simple case study for the future in law school. Now I think it's going to be a whole class. This case right now is an entire semester. This is an entire semester. If somebody has all of the screenshots and everything, this is literally an entire semester. I missed the first part, going back to eat cereal while watching Serial first. We're definitely going to address that tomorrow. You guys are so great. I really love how much you've loved the Court of Public Opinion. We're going to do that every Friday. I love it too. I just love it so much. So yeah, I think this should be an entire law school semester. It would definitely be interesting, because then you'd have law students being like, looking forward to what's next and being like, but what's tea? But what's tea? But they said, court, mom. Tell him to stop. Tell him to stop tweeting, mom. And then you would have the court being like, bitch, really? This is still happening? And then you would have the court being like, but you said I'm not the boss of you. Am I the boss of you now? Like, that's how this would all go down. It would be very fun. So the level of fuckery that popped off on Twitter today is still kind of like we've got a high pony. We came into this video not knowing if I needed to like put earrings on or like take earrings off or like put earrings on and then take earrings off. Like, I wasn't sure what needed. The earrings might still need to come off. Like, these are too hoop adjacent to stay on. The earrings might need to come off. I just question, could the judges say, screw this shit, jurisdiction isn't here, take it elsewhere? Most federal judges wouldn't do that. There would be a reason behind their ruling. If it were me, I would be like, oh no, motherfuckers, you've wasted enough of my time. We need to see what's going on. Most federal judges are going to be professional and look at the merits and see if there's jurisdiction or not, unless they determine that there's a acquiescence to jurisdiction. But we've talked enough. You're going to make me tangent. You're going to make me tangent to jurisdiction. I'm not falling for it tonight. We have lots of video on jurisdiction, but I think that the court will just have to, will have to parse what authority they have over a status conference. The court will have to decide like how much of the boss of them they can be. And then I don't think the court would be able to tell Salty anything about Twitter if he's gathering evidence and asking questions unless they told both sides. And that, we'll see. I mean, we'll see, you guys. This is just, it's a whole thing. I think Matt Damon should play Salty like when he played Judge Kavanaugh on SNL. That would be funny. Oh, you guys, thank you. It is. Got them hoops on. I might need to take the hoops off. I mean, there's fuckery afoot. There is fuckery afoot. All right, you guys, I swept through the questions. Yeah. People are like, hoops off, hair up. It's kind of where we're at tonight. If you are new here, all 7,000 of you, hi, thank you for being here. Fuckery afoot. If you don't follow me on the socials, I do behind the scenes things on Insta. I generally go live to talk about other, not just legal breakdown stuff on the Instagrams. We hit like 15,000 people on the Instagram, so come check it out. It's kind of fun. I mean, if you want to see what I get tagged in on Twitter, you're welcome to go join me there. I'm at the Emily D. Baker, literally everywhere on socials. If you are a new law nerd, come ride with us at the Law Nerd Shop. I am going to see you all tomorrow at 11. A huge, huge thank you to the mods. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I will see you guys tomorrow at 11 a.m. Come welcome our guest to our channel, Christine Snaps. I'm so excited. I'm literally kind of fangirl excited about it. I can't wait to have like a fun creator chat with her and really finally decide cereal, milk on bottom, milk on top. We're going to have to rule it tomorrow. Thank you for being here, and I will see you guys tomorrow at 11 a.m. Central Time. Bye. Connect with me everywhere. I'm at the Emily D. Baker. The podcast is The Emily Show Podcast. So if you're ready to ride at dawn, head over to lawnerdshop.com, your place for all your law nerd needs, stickers, t-shirts, sweatshirts, and more coming soon. If you guys want to join the text, just text emily.com. If you want to join the channel, lawnerdsunite.com. Happy to have you. Support what we do here on the YouTube